Okay, so yeah, so we're gonna add the power-ups and first I think we should add the most basic power-up, which would be like a healing power-up, a bandage power-up. So what we're first gonna do is we're gonna create a new sprite. So go ahead and paint a new sprite and name it power-ups or something like that. And then go ahead and edit the first costume name to be something like health. And then design your power up. It doesn't have to look exactly like mine, but it shouldn't be too large. So if we have our entire screen here, maybe this is just like a rough size, but maybe I want it to be like around like maybe even a bit smaller than that. We don't want it to be too big, but we want it to be on screen, yes. I think I am gonna change the outline. So you can design it however you'd like. Um Well, for this one, I just go with simple design myself. I'm just gonna do a white circle with like a red cross in the middle to represent the health. I'll use rectangles to create the red portion. Remove the outline. Rotate this. Pretty nice. All right. Once you have this design ready, I think we'll create a second design by clicking down here and then painting a new costume, which this time I think we'll call like I guess attack speed. Because this power up is gonna increase, is gonna make us shoot faster for temporarily for like a bit. So I think we should name this something. Um, I think we'll name it yeah, we'll name it attack speed, and then I'll just copy the same thing from health to the attack speed, but I'm gonna remove those crosses, and then maybe I'll just rotate one of the cross to be like this, and then I don't know how I would design this. Let's think. I think I'm gonna probably just copy the bullet I have and move it to the center instead, right there. Smaller. I'm thinking of maybe just like um maybe just adding two bullets next to each other. Something like this. And your design can be more advanced, can be cooler, better, but yeah. All right. Does anyone need more time on designing these, drawing these?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll wait for 2 more minutes.
对，那你说到，这不是解决这个，这理论上的。我说他这个时间管理算法等于你多久对你都上这多。
All right. Does anyone still need any more time on this? Okay, we can move on to the code now. So what we're first going to do, we're going to go to variables, scroll down, and then make a list. In this list, we're going to call it, I guess, effects or player effects, something like that. Player effects for all sprites. Make sure it's for all sprites. And then click OK. This is going to store all the effects the player has, like maybe having more hit speed or maybe something even more powerful, increasing the damage of a bullet we could add in the future as well. All right. Once we have this new list, we're just going to hide it for now. We don't really need to see it. And then, let's see. We are going to have the event when I receive start game. This is when the game starts, of course. In this, first, we're going to go down to variables, and then we're going to delete all of, make sure you change it to player effects. This is going to make sure that we actually deleted all of the effects the player has at the very beginning. And then after that, I think we should just have a forever. And then we're gonna wait, like pick random between, I'm gonna say maybe 10 to 20, or maybe 15 to 20 seconds, or actually 15 to 25 seconds for now. We can change this. So this is how long it's gonna be between each power up. So every 15 to 25 seconds, there's gonna be another power up. Um, okay. So after this, what we can do is we can choose, we can create, let's see. So we would want to have the different power-ups. We can create a random power-up. So let's make let's make a new variable. And let's name it power up type. And then make sure it's for this sprite only. This is important, for this sprite only, because we want each separate clone to have a different instance of this variable. And then once you're done, click OK. And then we can hide this variable. We don't really need to see it. And then right after the wait seconds, we're gonna drag out a set power up type to pick random between 1 and 2. After that, we're gonna simply create a clone of myself. Okay. Now after this, when I start as a clone, we are gonna have forever loop where the power up continuously moves, let's say 5 steps. So I'll see. Okay, it's moving a bit fast. I'm gonna change it to 3 steps actually. I think 3 steps works better. And then we're gonna use this very good tool, which is, I think it's in motion. If on edge bounce. So if we just put this in the forever loop, it will automatically bounce when it touches the edge of the screen. So we don't actually have to code that in really. But then now we must pick a random position for it to spawn in. So we're gonna make it go to X, pick random between negative 240 to 240. So the X value, the horizontal value is going to be from the left side of the screen to the right side of the screen. And the Y value, we're just going to make it 180. Seems pretty reasonable. It's going to spawn randomly on the top of the screen. But then there's another thing we need to randomize, which is the direction. We don't want it just to be going one random direction. So what we're going to do, oh yeah, that's supposed to be negative. The first 240 is supposed to be negative 240. And then for the point in direction, we're going to make it point in a random direction around the entire circle. So we're going to have it be between 0 and 360. Pick random, 0, 360. Or another way we can also write it is negative 180 to positive 180. Keep things simple. Okay, so now one problem is that the original power-up, the non-clones, so we only want the clones to show, right? But the first power-up is showing. So all we need to do is we need to go to looks, or not looks, wait, actually, yeah, looks. And we need to drag out a hide block and put it at the very beginning at when I receive start game. And then we need to drag out a show block at the very beginning of when I start as clone. So each clone actually shows. So if we wait, like, if we wait like 15 seconds, a power up should spawn in eventually. So we can check. Should spawn in soon. Oh, there we go. There's the power up. Okay. I see. Now we have another problem. The power up actually rotates. Like the actual power up actually like turns its body when it moves. So one thing we got to do is we got to go to looks, and then there's this handy little tool. It is called think it's no, it's in motion, sorry. Set rotation style. to left to right or don't rotate. So we're going to change it to don't rotate. We don't want these things to rotate. So we're going to put that at the very beginning, right after hide in the start game, so that every single clone does not rotate. And then I'm going to make these clones go slower as well. I feel like 3 steps is still a bit fast. So I'm going to make it move 2 steps. But you can keep it 3 steps if you want it to be faster. All right. Now, what we have to do is we have to actually switch the costume to the appropriate one. So we're going to drag out a switch costume to and put it before the forever loop in the when I started as a clone. And then in the bubble where we change it to which costume, we're going to place power up type. So depending on which type it is, it's going to spawn a different one. And for testing purposes, I think we should remove the pick random 15 to 25 in the start game for now. Don't delete it. Just put it right next to it because we want these power ups to spawn so we can test it out. So now I have like a power up spawning every 1 second. So would you look at that? The power-ups seem to be working. I get both of the power-ups, and they're all bouncing around the screen. And right now, they should do nothing. They should just be pretty useless. Okay, now we need to set up the list, the player effects list. So right after we delete all player effects, we're actually going to add a few things in. So we're first going to drag out a repeat 10 loop. And then in that loop, we are going to place add thing to bullet damage, except we're going to change bullet damage to player effects, and then we're going to add false to player effects. And we're going to change the repeat value to 2. So we're only going to repeat twice. Now, these represent whether the player has the effects that are in the menu or not. All right, one more thing we have to do right here is we've got to make sure these power-ups, they stop moving when we're in the pausing menu. When we press P, the power-ups still move right now. So we want to stop it from moving just like everything else by wrapping. And I'm going to put the pick random back in to make it easier to move around, but I'm just going to change the pick random to be between 1 and 2. So more of them spawn. And then we got to wrap everything around with if. I'm going to use an operator equals, and we're going to check if game paused equals 0. And then we're gonna do the same thing in the forever loop in the clone. We're gonna wrap it around with an if game pause equals 0. So now all the power-ups should stop moving when you open the shop. Okay. Now, to make things easier, instead of adding false to player effects, I'm going to add 0 to player effects. Because 0 represents false when you're doing programming. 0 is false and 1 is true. It makes it easier. Okay. Now we're going to actually code in the power-ups. So we're going to start with another one I start as clone for the power-up type 1. I'm going to put an if first. I'm going to drag out a not equal to 1. And we're going to, in the first line, we're going to put power-up type not equals to 1. Then we're going to go to events or control, and then we're going to stop all and change all to this script. So that means only the power-up type that is equal to 1 can pass through this, because everything that is not equal to 1 will get stopped. So yeah, to reiterate, not can be found here, and then equal found here in the operators, and then stop this script is found in control, where you scroll down a bit, and you'll find stop all, and you can switch all to this script. Right after this, we're going to have a wait until. And then in sensing, we're going to drag out a touching player. So this clone is going to wait until it's touching the player. And then it's going to first actually add the effect to player effects. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to down to the variables and then lists. And then we're going to set a replace item 1 of bullet damage, except we're going to change bullet damage to player effects. I want to replace item 1 with 1. So that means the first object turns into 1 instead of 0, which means it's true. And then right after that, we're just going to simply delete this clone. So that's for the first power up. Okay. Now the neat thing is that we can just copy this code for the second power up. So we can just right click the top of the first power up code and duplicate it. Now, all we need to change is the ones to twos, except except the width. So the first one we're going to change is the one up here. So if power type is equal to 2, and then the second one is going to replace item 2 of player effects with 1 instead of item 1. Make sure that final one right after width is still a 1. So you're only changing 2 things. All right. Hmm. Actually, what I think is the second number, they'll replace item 1 with, instead of 1 representing true, we can make it actually be like a countdown for how long you'll have the effect for. Now, it's going to be measured in ticks. So for the first one, I think we should just keep it 1 because we only want the player to heal in 1 tick. But for the second one, we can make that several seconds long. We can make that like 10 seconds long. And 10 seconds in ticks is actually 200 because we multiply by 20. So make sure that's 200, everyone. And then we can go back to the start game code, and then we can actually create a new when I receive start game script. I'm just going to drag out a new one. In here, we're going to have a forever loop. And just to make sure the code is pretty clean, we're going to wait 0 seconds before actually doing this. And remember that wait 0 seconds actually means wait 1 tick. In this forever loop, we're going to have a few things. So we're going to make sure we decrease the number in the list if it's larger than 0. So if, and we're going to drag out an operator greater than, and in the first slot, we're going to put if item 1 of bullet damage, except we're going to change bullet damage to player effects, is greater than 0, then we're going to replace item 1 of player effects with item 1 of player effects -1. So what this does is just going to change it by 1. But with lists, it's kind of complicated to do it. So we're going to first find what's in item 1 of player effects, then we're subtract it by 1. And then we're going to replace item 1 with that subtracted version. So we're going to replace item 1 of player effects with item 1 of player effects minus 1. And make sure it's all player effects. Make sure it's all editing the lists of player effects or accessing it. Not anything else. Once you have this, we'll duplicate this same if and place it right after. And we're going to change all instances of 1 into 2 for the second power up, except the minus 1. Minus 1 will stay minus 1 because we're still subtracting 1. So we're only going to change 3 instances. A. Before we change all of this, we're going to have an if before that. So in this if, we're going to check if, and we're going to drag on an equal first, if item 1 of player effects is equal to 1. Then what we're going to do is we're going to change health or change player health by, I want to say just 1 or maybe 2 or maybe no, just 1. Change player health by 1. So I'm going to actually test this out to see if it works yet. So I'm going to show player effects the lists, and then I'm going to just collect one of the items. Collecting the health should increase your health by 1. And it does for me. And then collecting the other one should make, oh gosh, come on. Yep. All right. Now you see that number rapidly decreasing up there? That is what should be happening when you collect the other one. It should go back to 200 and then start decreasing rapidly. So if that is happening, then you've done everything correct so far. Okay. Now we should code in the second power up, which makes our bullets shoot faster. In order to edit this, we must go to the player sprite. In here, we should find the shooting script in define control shooting reload time. And actually, we're not going to go there because that's what the actual define block is. Instead, we're going to go down to here where we have a start game. And then in here, we have the 3 different gun types where they shoot different speeds, 0.3, 0.1, and 0.2. Oh no, actually, my bad. We can actually do that in the control shooting / reload time script. So it's actually my bad. It's easier if we do it that way because we can modify it for all 3 gun types at the same time. Only changing 1 bit of code can change all 3 functionality. So what we're going to do is we're going to have an if else. And we're going to wrap the wait time seconds in the else. So, and then in the if, we're going to have if, we're going to drag a greater than. The second slot, we're going to put a 0. And the first slot, we're going to go to variables.
How'd you get the big control shooting reload time thing?
Oh, this block?
Yeah.
That was already there. We were just finding it. So when you find it, it should look like this. And make sure you're in the player sprite. And we already created this. We created this custom block for controlling shooting, depending on the reload time, which is right here, which we moved down here. Now we're going to make sure we can modify it inside the actual code so it changes for all 3 different gun types. Did you find it?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So now what we're going to do is we're going to wrap the if then else around the wait time seconds, and we're going to move the wait time seconds to else. And then in the if slot, we're going to do wait time seconds, except we're going to divide time by 2. So it's going to shoot 2 times faster, basically, because the shooting time is half as much, which means the amount of shots per time is double. And then in the top if, we're going to include if item 2 of player effects is greater than 0. If item 2 of player effects is greater than 0. So now I think we should check it out. Oh, yes. Shoots much faster for around like 10 whole seconds. Though it is really laggy when I use this, and I wonder why. Okay. I'm going to test it out in full screen mode to see if it's still laggy in full screen. Because there may be an issue. The code if it's oh no, it's not laggy in full screen mode. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So you can see it shoots way faster. And if I choose the machine gun, which already shoots really fast, it should shoot even faster. Wow, look at that. That is a lot of bullets per second. Okay, now it's slower. And now once I collect one of them, if I can actually collect it, there you go. Boom, way faster. Now it goes back to normal. You can see the actual effect lasting on the side there. Boom. If I choose the third gun, it should also shoot. Oh, yeah, that's a lot. You can see it clearly. Once it runs out, I'm going to actually show what it normally looks like. Normally, it looks like this. Oh, well, you can hear the sounds as well. It's clearly shooting way faster. Okay, now we actually have these effects working. And if it doesn't work, please tell me right now so we can fix it. Um, but if it is working, we should add an indication to show the effect is there. So, in order to do that, let's create a new sprite and let's paint it. This time we're going to call this effects display. And for the display, I think I'm just gonna actually, you know what? Delete that new sprite we just created. It's easier if we just duplicate the power up sprite. So duplicate, right click the power up sprite and then click duplicate. And this time rename this to effects display. So I'm going to show this on like below the money indicator to show what effects we have, or actually maybe above it could work as well. Then to make it maybe a bit different, I think I'm going to change the outline of each of these to like some sort of like a goldish color is what I'm thinking of to make it look different from the actual effects, like the actual power-ups.
Wait, how'd you put both of them?
How did I what now?
How'd you like did you duplicate it?
Yes, I duplicated the power-up sprite and then I renamed it to effects display and I changed up the sprites just a bit.
How do
The
you
the costumes just a bit.
how do you duplicate a thing?
If you want to duplicate something, all you got to do is right click the actual item, and it can be a sprite, it can be a costume. But for this, we're doing it for power up. So right click the power up and then click duplicate to create a copy of it, and then just rename it to something else. The copy. So like effects, I rename power ups two to effects display.
Oh,
Yeah. And once you have effects display done, we're all going to go back to the code and then right click on the code, and then we're going to click the delete like 68, or maybe you have like 69 or like something, just like the delete all blocks. So click that, and then it's going to ask you want to confirm it, and just click OK. So we deleted all blocks in the effects display sprite, not the power up sprite, the effects display sprite.
you make both of them yellow?
Huh?
Do you make both of them yellow?
Um, sure. I mean, it does the design, it doesn't really matter that much, just as long as it's like around the same size and shape. But what's inside it does you can be creative with it. But yes, yellow would work great, I think. Not sure yet, but I think it would look good. All right. Now in the code, like always, we're going to start with a when I receive start game. And what we're first going to do is we're going to hide the main sprite because we're going to utilize clones in this one as well. And then for this, I think we'll just create 3 sprites. So we're clone, sorry, I mean clones. Repeat 3 times, create a clone of myself. And that'll be it for that one. And then we're going to drag out when I start as clone to initiate the clone types. And we're actually going to go to variables, and then we're going to make a new variable, and we're going to call it clone type. So we can differentiate between the 3 different types and make it for this sprite only. Make sure it's for this sprite only, because we want each of the 3 ones to have a different value, each of the 3 clones. So for this sprite only, and then click OK. We can hide this clone type. We don't really need to see that. And then before the repeat 3, we are going to set clone type to 0. And I want to change clone type by 1 before we create clone of myself. And then in this first one, when I start as clone, we're going to drag out an if not equal. And then in the equal, we're going to put clone type equals 1. Then we are gonna stop all, and we're gonna change it to stop this script. So this is the same thing as last time. We're singling out the clone type equals 1, because if it's not clone type equals 1, then the script will just stop. So only clone type equals 1 can pass. And then for this one, it's just going to be showing the first power up. So we're going to go to looks, and then we're going to switch costume to health. Right after that, we are going to have a forever loop with an if else. In the if, in the thing, we're going to put greater than. And then we're going to put, go down to lists, and then we're going to drag item 1 of player effects is greater than 0. And then we're going to have a simple show and hide. Show when it is greater than 0 and hide when it's not. So this is going to show when we do have the health power up, which isn't it shouldn't show up is what I mean, because the health power up only lasts for a little bit. But we can change that later on. Okay. Now, once you're done with this code, we can copy, once again, copy the entire code by right-clicking the top and then clicking duplicate for power up type 2. So now we have 2 of the exact same thing. Now we're going to change clone type to equals 2. So we single out clone type equals 2. And then on the bottom here, if item 2 of player effects is greater than 0, then show. So now when we collect the shooting power up, it should show, oh, well, it shows down here. That's not exactly where I wanted it, but it does show, which is good. Oh, and I forgot, we got to change health to attack speed. That's important. Because this is the second power up. All right, but now we actually got to position it, and I forgot to do that. So what we're first going to do is we're going to put negative. So, okay. So we're going to drag out a go to XY block, and we're going to go to the first clone and the second clone, and we're going to put that right after switching costume in both of them. For the first clone type, we're going to put negative 220 for X and then 100 for Y. For the second one, we're going to put 100 for Y as well, but for the X, we're going to put something like negative 100, like 90 or something like that. See how it works. We will see how it works. Gosh dang, these are hard to get. Okay, let me get that power up. Oh, I missed it. There you go. Now it should show up there. Now the health power up still doesn't show up, but we should get it if we change up the code a bit. So now what we got to do is we got to go to the power up sprite again. Once we're done with this, go to the power up sprite. The power up sprite, and in here, we're going to drag out this. We're going to go to like where we have the actual this start game code with the forever loop where we -1 for each of them and we change player health by 1. That code right there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to drag out this new block in the operators called mod something. Now this is some more like advanced kind of math, but what it does is basically it finds the remainder when one number is divided by another. So in the first slot, we're going to place the item 1 of player effects from the if equals. Then we're going to change that equal 1 into equal 0. Or not equal 0, that's a bad idea. Sorry, equal 1. Keep it equal 1. And we're going to place the mod in. Now in the second slot for mod, we are going to place we are going to place 20 to represent 1 second. And actually, in the equal sign, we're going to place 19 instead of 1. All right, so what this does is it's going to heal us every 20 or every 1 second because 20 ticks is 1 second. And now what we're going to do is we're going to move the screen
What
around
did you do
until
with
you
the
get
mod?
to. Sorry, what?
What did you do with the mod?
I placed it in the first slot of the equal sign of the equal comparator.
Wait, did you move everything in it and then move it?
So what we had before here was we had item 1 of player effects equal to 1. What I did was I grabbed a new mod and then I moved that item 1 of player effects to the first slot of the mod. I changed the second slot to 20, and then I changed the second part of the equal sign to 19.
Oh.
And then I placed the mod inside the first slot. So this is like
Oh.
some pretty complicated math, but what it does is it just basically it runs every single second. This is basically just what it does. And then after we're done with this, we are gonna move and we're gonna find the power up 1 code or the clone one. So when I start as clone, if not power type equal 1, so that one because power type equals 1. So instead of replacing item 1 of player effects with 1, we're gonna replace it with I'm thinking 60. So what this does, it gives you 3 health points over the span of 3 seconds. So if I actually collect one of these, so now I have the first power up. If I can't get the second power up, oh my gosh. There you go. Get the second power up. It should, oh, come on, come on, come on. These power ups are kind of difficult to get. There we go. There we go. All right, now it should show on my screen. Boom. My health should have increased by 3 if I wasn't being bombarded by zombies right now. 1, 2, 3. So every time I collect one of these power-ups, one of the health power-ups, it should increase my health by 3, and it does, which is wonderful. Okay. Now that should be all for power-ups for today. So, well, the final thing we're gonna do before we finish up is we're gonna go to the code where we actually wait the pick random between 1 and 2 seconds, and we're gonna change that back to normal, 15 to 25 seconds. And then once you're done with that, now the power-ups should come like very rarely.
Wait, what did you
Well,
do?
not that rare, but sorry, what?
What did you do?
I changed the pick random from 1 to 2 to 15 to 25 right over here. In the when I receive start game, the set rotation style to don't rotate.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I changed it back to normal because we changed it to 1 to 0, 1 to 2 in order to test things because we wanted to see like a lot of the power-ups. But now we want the game to actually run, so we want it to actually be like a good game. So we're gonna actually make it spawn every 15 to 25 seconds. So you won't see a power-up until 15 seconds or 25 seconds after you've already seen one or after the game starts. So that makes it balanced because the power-ups are kind of powerful. All right. So once you have this done, well, that's it for today. So if you have this done, you may leave now. So have a great
Okay,
day.
thank you.
Of course. You're welcome.